Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome back to the You Love to See It YouTube channel. I'm sorry I look a bit scruffy this morning. It is 8 a.m. and my kids woke me up at like 6:30, so yeah. But I wanted to make a bit more of a detailed video about a big deal that broke last night. Ryan Divish ended up tweeting that the Mariners traded Jarred Kelenic, Marco Gonzales, and Evan White to the Atlanta Braves for right-handed pitcher Jackson Kowar and prospect Cole Phillips. So first of all, let's take a deep breath. Okay, now scream it all out. I'm not going to do that. I don't want the cops called on me. First, let's look at who we sent away, starting with first baseman Evan White. White was drafted by the Mariners in 2017. In total, he's only played in 84 major league games, all being in 2020 and 2021. His career stats in the majors are only 165, 235, and 544 for his slash line, with an OPS plus of 54. So not the best of bat. I believe it was 2021 when he signed a 6-year, $24 million contract. So this trade is offloading about $15 million in the next 2 years for him. And in my opinion, we're not losing a whole lot with White. I mean, he's already hasn't really been able to prove that he can stay at the major league level. And it was clear that we weren't planning on promoting him anytime soon. So this part makes sense. Now let's talk about Marco Gonzales, the Bulldog. Marco's done a lot for Seattle. He was a nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award this year, and he did a lot for the Mariners prior to the 2023 season. He's seen as the innings eater, that solid back half of the rotation guy for a while. And Marco's been a Mariner since 2017, before the rebuild. He's stuck through it the whole time. He'll be ending his tenure with the Mariners with a 61-47 record, 4.08 ERA, 852 innings pitched, and 631 strikeouts. His 2023 season was unfortunately cut short. He had to have a procedure on his elbow, but he was slanted to return for spring training. He was projected to make a little under $12.5 million next year. So Marco also makes a bit of sense that you want to dump that $12.5 million in salary. I get it for a sort of declining pitcher. But if we're going to get into the real juicy stuff, we have to talk about Jarred Kelenic is officially not a Mariner anymore. And that's what makes this deal insane. He had a monster April last year where he hit .310 with 7 dingers. He had 3 homers in 3 straight games in Wrigley Field. He was shaping up to have a decent year. He was arguably one of our best players last year until in July he struck out in the game against the Guardians and decided to kick a water cooler, fracturing his foot. And he was on the IL from July to September. And I know he's had some problems with attitude and immaturity issues, so I understand how that can be a bit unsavory and leave kind of a bad taste in the mouths of the Mariners front office. But Jarred is an interesting case of a guy who has shown glimpses of potential all-star upside. He just hasn't been able to put it all together into a full season and stay consistent. I was personally looking forward to a full 2024 campaign from him, but I guess that's gone now. And with Kelenic being this potential star, you'd think we could get a somewhat decent haul from this, but that is what honestly makes this deal even worse than it already was. The first piece we got back was right-handed reliever Jackson Kowar. He was a first-round pick with the Kansas City Royals in 2018, and he debuted with the Royals in 2021. And he's pretty much been optioned up and down with the Royals since then. He's pitched in a total of 39 games at the big league level for a 9.12 ERA and 74 innings pitched. Kowar is a 3-pitch mix consisting of 4-seam fastball, changeup, and slider. Last year, he averaged 96.9 miles an hour on his fastball, 86.6 miles an hour on his changeup, and 86 miles an hour on his slider. And as I look at his baseball savant stats, there's not really anything that's exciting me. He's well above average on his fastball velocity, a bit on like his barrel percentage and whatnot, but not really anything else. The best whiff rate he had on any of his pitches was at 32.4% on his slider. However, he had a .528 slug on that pitch. So I don't know. I guess this is a pitching lab thing. I mean, if he has options left, which I don't know how to find if he has options left, so if you know how to find that, please let me know in the comments. But if he does, he needs to start in Tacoma. I think that's the better place to develop him at. He's not ready for the major leagues yet, in my opinion. The second piece we got back, which is arguably the best piece of the deal that we got back, was right-handed prospect Cole Phillips. And Phillips is a 20-year-old pitcher from Texas who was drafted out of high school by the Braves in the 2nd round of the 2022 draft. Is yet to throw a singular pitch in pro ball, including rookie ball. Is yet to throw a singular pitch in pro ball, let alone rookie ball, due to needing Tommy John surgery. Prior to the trade, he was the 7th ranked prospect in the Braves organization. He's now the 15th ranked prospect in the Mariners organization. And the only information I could really find on him to know what his deal is the MLB.com's prospect write-up on him, which states his fastball is his best pitch. It has a 70 grade, which is awesome, hovering around mid 890s, and he can touch high 90s and maybe sometimes even triple digits. He also has a power curve that's around 85 miles an hour that has potential of a plus pitch. It is a changeup, but it's not used much, but it has shown a little bit of flair. Now, he's a prospect. He's 20 years old. He's coming off Tommy John. It's going to be a while till we know if he is serviceable at all to the major league roster. We're talking he still needs to do his whole stint in the minors. So we're looking at several years, probably over 5 at least. So that wraps up the pieces of this trade. And I got to say, oof. Listen, I understand offloading Evan White and Marco's contracts, as it's hard to believe that there'll be quality MLB players in the future. Marco's decent, but at the end of the day, he just had surgery. It's hard to say how 2024 and beyond is going to be for him. But man, it feels like you could get a lot better for Jarred Kelenic, because Kowar is a tougher reclamation project than Carlos Vargas was, who we got in the Suarez deal. And a 20-year-old prospect who has good attributes, but is coming off a Tommy John surgery. And for me, I had faith that JK could have a good 2024 season. He showed a lot of good strides last year, and his apology for the water cooler incident showed me some maturity there. But outside of offloading salaries, we now have, it feels like, more problems than not at this point. I mean, going into this off season, our holes were corner outfield, DH, maybe third base or first base, depending on your opinions about Ty France and Eugenio Suarez. So basically 2 main ones and like 1 possible hole. Now we have 2 corner outfield positions, DH still, third baseman for sure in my opinion, because like I've said in previous videos, I don't think Urias should be a third baseman. I think he should stay at second. So 4 big holes in your roster. If you want to count another reliever, since we traded Campbell away to the Boston Red Sox, then I mean, go ahead, but Prelander Baroa could maybe go there. So we went from 2 major holes to 4 to 5. Now, the question is, how do you fill all of these holes? In my opinion, one place where this trade made things harder is now if you trade Miller or Wu, let's say for a Rosarena and Paredes from the Rays, it fills 2 spots, corner outfield and third base, but now it opens up a starting pitcher position. Because in my head, you could have had Marco fill that void until Robbie Ray was back around All-Star break. So you plugged up 2 holes, but now you have another one. So you really only plugged up 1 in total out of 4 to 5. And then at that point, you maybe have 25 to 30-ish million to plug up the second corner outfield position and designated hitter, and now a starting pitcher. This just feels like a really difficult task. Now, it's not impossible, but at this point, it feels like we're really narrowing ourselves with creating a decent 2024 roster. It's just difficult, man. It's really, it's hard to stay optimistic. And now I want to talk about the fan perspective on all this. And I know that some people could say, well, it opens up more money. They must have something brewing, which is potentially and probably true. But you have to look at it this way and why people are so upset about trades like this. We were already pissed off about missing the playoffs. Then we had that damn press conference, the 54% one, and that they're doing us a favor after missing the playoffs. And the first couple moves are lukewarm. You get Blake Hunt, a backup catcher, and Luis Urias. Neither of those are needle mover trades. And you follow up by trading Eugenio Suarez, Jarred Kelenic, and Marco Gonzales, all 3 fan favorites in their own ways, and all parts of the Mariners culture. And both of those trades yielding what felt like scraps that don't make a ton of sense. So now it just feels like a boxing combination of blows to us. without any solid positive moves to break up the flurry. And it's been exhausting to say the least. And lastly, you were number one in operating income in 2022 at $83 million. And it definitely was more last year because everyone thought we were going to make the playoffs again. So the fact we even have to do these salary dumps is absolutely ridiculous. So unless these damn Funko Pop giveaways are costing us millions of dollars, then it's insane that we even have to be doing this. But I will say, if anything, there is that possibility that there are moves to come that can make us happy and release a little serotonin on our brains. But it's reasonable to be skeptical. And the winter meetings are fully going now, so I feel like this next week is going to be crazy. And I'll be here to cover it whenever anything happens. But that's it for me. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You could also go follow me on Twitter at Mariners Jerseys. And yeah, I'll see you when I see ya. Bye.